Hello everybody, welcome to our video story about our experiences fishing while cruising the southeast coast of Puerto Rico. We're starting at Caja de Muertos, or Coffin Island, just east of the town of Ponce. On our second day of fishing here, we got the techniques dialed in and caught quite a few of these beautiful red hind grouper. Not huge fish, but really tasty on the table. Considering the world record for these fish is just over 6 pounds in weight, this one's actually a pretty respectable catch.
So we've caught ourselves some grouper and filled the freezer, and now we're going to try and catch some fish on camera. But to do that we had to set up a special camera trap because we weren't going to sit on the bottom of the ocean for an hour looking for fish to take pictures of. So here was our little invention. So this is our standard camera bracket for underwater work. We added some weights to hold it down and a bottle to float and hold it up so it sits on the bottom like this. Cameras here, lights on each of these ends. Let's see how it works.
Here's our camera on the way to the bottom, about 16 feet under Harmonie's keel. Then we're going to add a grouper carcass from this morning's catch as bait and sit back and see what shows up. It's not long before the first visitor arrives. Not what I expected to see, but rather a remora. Remoras usually follow much larger fish who they can attach to with the suction cup on top of their flat heads. Their usual diet is actually the feces of the fish they follow around. So if you think your life is tough, pity the poor remora, condemned to a lifetime diet of poop. These two have probably been following our boat around. After almost an hour in the water, this was all we turned up for close-ups on Fish TV. I had much higher hopes for another try after dark. At night, surely we could lure a shark, maybe a lobster, even just a crab or two. But that was not to be. The lights attracted thick clouds of plankton and fish larvae, but the only significant visitor was this smallmouth grunt who feasted off the tiny plankton in the lights, but ignored our grouper leftovers, which were still there in the morning. The next day we went back to the reef where we did so well with the grouper and tried again. Fishing can supply endless surprises. In this case we had drifted off the reef into deeper water and... And 5 minutes later, we've got a fish alongside the boat. Karen's got the net. Scoops it up. And we have 8 pounds of big eye tuna in the bag. The best sushi there is. We've set sail from Coffin Island, headed further east, and it's a slow and gentle sail. And we have one fishing line that we're dragging along behind the boat, just waiting to see what bites.
Nothing at the moment. I'm thinking you're right. Well, maybe he's not that big, but it's just going to be a fish.
Well, I put the net away.
And not very long after that, we have a nice sized Crevalle jack in the boat.
Okay, now just
They have a reputation for being not the best eating around, but we tried one anyway, and I thought it was quite good. Karen was less enthusiastic. A few minutes later, we're back trolling along, again pretty slowly and uneventfully. minutes later, another nice Crevalle jack comes onto Harmonie. And it's about a week later. Now we're in Colubre, Puerto Rico, an island off the coast. And again, I've set the camera trap at night with the lights. We didn't use any bait this time, just used the lights. That snapping sound you hear is actually small shrimp that live in burrows on the bottom. In addition to the small fish and plankton that were attracted to the light, we did have some bigger visitors this time. Some rather large tarpon. It's a little tough to get a perspective in this picture, but these are about 3 or 4 feet long. Large numbers of them would gather around the boat whenever we had the lights on, feeding on actually quite tiny little bait fish. The other place these tarpon showed up was at our favorite restaurant in town. No, seriously, they hang out right off the dock that's right at the dining room and wait for people to throw them the scraps of their leftover fried snapper dinner. Quite entertaining, actually.